Hey guys, today we're talking about that weird squirmy feeling you get when someone says something nice about you. Maybe they say you look great, or that your work was amazing, or that you're just a genuinely good person, and suddenly your stomach tightens a little. You smile, sure, but it feels off, like the compliment slid right past your skin instead of sinking in. Maybe you deflect it, change the subject, or toss it back like a hot potato. You too. Or, oh, it was nothing. So, before we go deeper into today's topic, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Here's what's really going on. A compliment, even a kind and well-meant one, acts like a mirror, and if you're not used to liking your reflection, it can feel more disorienting than flattering. Imagine someone suddenly shoving a polished mirror in your face while you're still wearing your pajama shirt inside out. That's the psychological discomfort compliments trigger when your internal self-image doesn't line up with what's being reflected back at you. It's called cognitive dissonance. That subtle but powerful tension between how you see yourself and how others see you. You believe you're awkward, flawed, average. They tell you you're impressive. You're stuck trying to bridge a gap your mind never prepared for. Think about it. If you've built an identity around being the quiet one, or the one who always messes up, or the behind-the-scenes helper, not the star, then hearing someone say, "you're really talented," can almost feel threatening. Not because it's mean, but because it contradicts the safe, familiar version of yourself you've grown comfortable with. And that contradiction feels like someone's yanking the rug out from under your emotional footing. This is especially true if you've spent years internalizing criticism more easily than praise. Maybe growing up, attention only came when you failed or needed to be fixed. Compliments, in contrast, didn't happen much, or if they did, they came with a catch. They felt loaded, performative, or unreliable. So now, even when they're genuine, your body responds with suspicion or confusion. Your shoulders tighten, your heart beats a little faster, and your brain tries to make sense of the mismatch. Why are they saying that? They must be exaggerating, or mistaken, or just being polite. You start analyzing their tone, their facial expression, their motive, because accepting their words at face value feels emotionally risky. Here's a simple, modern-day example. You spend hours getting ready for a night out. You check your outfit in the mirror 5 times. You're still not sure it works. But the moment you walk into the room, someone says, "Wow, you look amazing." And instead of feeling confident, you panic. Your first instinct is to joke it off. "This old thing?" Because the compliment shines a spotlight on all the doubts you were already wrestling with privately. It feels like being caught in the middle of your own uncertainty, suddenly forced to smile through it. There's also a psychological effect called the spotlight effect. That's the tendency to believe others are paying more attention to your flaws than they actually are. So, when someone compliments you, especially in a group, you might suddenly feel exposed. It's as if the room turned its full gaze on you, dissecting whether you really earned the praise or not. Even when no one's judging, your brain can't stop replaying old internal scripts. Am I worthy of this? Do they really mean it? Compliments don't just bounce off you, they rattle around in your emotional echo chamber. If you're not used to associating positive feedback with safety, it can trigger your defenses instead of your gratitude. And here's the twist. The nicer the compliment, the more intense that discomfort can get, especially if it touches on something you secretly feel insecure about. Being told you're so smart can feel suffocating if you're secretly terrified of being exposed as a fraud. That's imposter syndrome stepping in to block what should have been a boost. So you're not just reacting to the compliment itself, you're reacting to what it asks of you, to believe it, to own it, to maybe even start adjusting how you see yourself. And that's no small task, especially when your emotional wiring has been trained to dodge that kind of vulnerability. So now you're sitting there, half smiling at a compliment that made your chest feel tight. And even though you nodded and said thanks, your brain won't let it go. Because for some reason, that one kind word felt like a demand, not a gift. And this brings us to something deeper. Sometimes, compliments feel uncomfortable because they come with strings attached, or at least your mind assumes they do. If you grew up around people who used praise strategically, only when they wanted something or when they needed you to perform, then compliments never felt unconditional. They were a transaction, a currency, a setup. "You're so mature for your age" might have actually meant, "I need you to handle this adult responsibility I'm about to dump on you." "You're such a good listener" might have meant, "Don't talk, just keep absorbing my problems." Even if that's not happening now, your nervous system remembers. So present-day praise activates old wiring. What do they want from me? And even when the compliment is real and free of agenda, it can still land like pressure. If someone tells you you're always so dependable, it's flattering, but it also subtly reinforces an expectation. Now you feel boxed in. What if you mess up? What if you're tired and don't want to be dependable this week? That praise, once received, feels like something you have to live up to. You're not just being seen, you're being defined. And that, ironically, can feel like a new kind of burden. This is part of a psychological phenomenon known as self-verification theory. It means that deep down, people want others to confirm what they already believe about themselves, even if those beliefs aren't flattering. If you think you're mediocre and someone insists you're brilliant, your instinct isn't joy, it's friction. Because now you're being asked to carry a version of yourself you don't fully believe in. Compliments, in that context, feel like mismatched costumes. You can wear them, but you feel fake the whole time. And sometimes, it's not even about the compliment itself. It's about who it comes from. If a stranger compliments you, it might feel random or suspicious. If it's a close friend, you might worry they're just being nice. If it's a boss or authority figure, your brain might whisper, "Are they trying to manipulate me?" Compliments hit different depending on your past experiences with the person giving them. If you've ever been burned by flattery that turned into expectation or betrayal, your guard shoots up automatically. Let's take a relatable example. You've been working hard on a group project. You're behind on sleep, stressed, and not even sure you did a good job. But then your supervisor pulls you aside and says, "You're the backbone of this team. Seriously, we couldn't have done it without you." And now you feel panic. Because it's not just praise, it's weight. You're being elevated. And with that comes the fear of falling. Maybe you're already thinking, now I have to maintain this standard. Now I can't fail, ever. It's like being handed a fragile glass trophy, beautiful, but now you have to carry it carefully forever. Add to that a cultural factor many people overlook, the discomfort with being perceived. Compliments require you to be seen, and for some, that feels inherently vulnerable. It's safer to stay under the radar, to not be talked about, to be neutral. Being complimented forces a kind of spotlight that makes you feel exposed, as though now people are watching to see if you're really as good as they say. You feel surveilled, even when it's all happening in your head. And all of this is made trickier by social scripts. We don't get taught how to receive compliments. We learn how to brush them off, how to joke them away, how to redirect the attention. We rarely practice just sitting with them, just letting someone else's kind words land without having to shrink or apologize. So when you do try to receive a compliment, it feels awkward because you've been conditioned to think that humility equals deflection. That modesty means not letting anything stick. But here's the thing. You don't have to force yourself to love compliments overnight. You just have to notice what's happening. Your discomfort isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that your emotional system is trying to protect you from being misjudged, from being disappointed, from being defined too narrowly. That reaction comes from somewhere, and the more you become aware of it, the more space you give yourself to change it. Let the compliment sit. Let it feel weird. Let it stir up whatever it stirs up. And then try this. Instead of deflecting it or overanalyzing it, just say thank you and breathe. You don't have to believe it fully yet, but you also don't have to run from it. It's okay to feel uneasy when someone sees you in a way you haven't quite seen yourself yet. Growth often starts there, in the discomfort. As Maya Angelou once said, modesty is a learned affectation. You don't have to be modest, just be honest. So let the compliments come, let them challenge your self-perception, and let yourself grow, one awkward thank you at a time.